What's going on, everybody out there? Your Dark Avenger Chris and Mike here, and we are back once again with another Dark Avenger comic book review. Still late, but you know, I noticed that during the holiday seasons, the comic reviews are always, most of the time, late. Maybe save one or 2 years where things were kind of on time, but with all these books and with all the stuff that we're doing, especially in November and December, yeah, we've never really been on time.
Nope.
We've always been at least a day or two late. But this week's review is super late. So the books in this review are from when?
November 8, 2017.
That's right. We're already in this week's books. I'm already halfway through reading this week's books, and we still have to do last week's books. And by the time this goes up, next week's books are only going to be 3 days away. So for this episode, we're going to try something new, something fun that might show up every now and again on the reviews as well. And this is going to be a lightning review. Meaning, I'm not going to tell you guys, if I give you guys a time, we're going to go over it. So I'm not going to say it, but you're going to notice that the time for this review is a lot shorter than our other reviews.
Yes.
So without further ado, Mike has all the digital books indie-wise. I have one digital book from the big two. I have 2 physical indie books, and then the rest is all big two. So,
okay. Harbinger Renegade, issue number 0. This one I chose was my least favorite book. Had nothing to do with the Valiant superheroes. Like, basically, it just talked about the army stories, and to be honest, I felt really bored reading this book, and it just wasn't my interest at all.
okay.
Like, it was just the least favorite for that. The next one we have is Green Horn Meets the Spirit, issue number 5. This is the last comic issue of Green Hornet that meets the Spirit, and basically you just learn a little bit about the octopus, what happened in the warehouse, of how the Spirit encountered with the octopus, and how the octopus was by Denny Colt, I think his name was. In the end, he helps Kratos, or Kratos, the one that works with Green Hornet.
Okay.
He helps him get back to life with the machine that he invented, and they're both okay. So I guess with that, I really like the issue though. Really interesting series. Spear Hunters issue number 11 of 12 from Zenescope. Only one more issue away from that. And this story really hits hard for Ellen, who goes through this whole traumatic experiences with the demonic things, but she wants to do it to help her clients for like the good of all that. But she gets like really hit hard on this one, but we get to learn a lot more of what she actually sees than a normal person would. But really emotional story, and it looks like we're going to be going into the farm, because that's where she wrote where all this is going to take place, or where it began. Who knows? We'll find out next issue.
Birthright, issue 28. This series just continues to get better and better. You've got a train wreck. You've got Mikey finally revealing to the grandfather what he is envisioning as his conversation with Lore, and how Lore is actually trying to do this to save both Tyrannos and Earth and bring peace. And of course the grandfather thinks that's wrong, but like I said, then the train wreck happens. What happens next? To be continued. I've been loving Birthright since issue 1. You guys should definitely be checking this out. Awesome artwork, amazing story, and I believe we're almost at the chapter's end. Now, I read this book as well, so yes. TMNT Ghostbusters 2, issue number 2. We've got the Turtles all across different dimensions. Donatello and Egon working on finding a way to get rid of the collectors from attacking the Turtles. There was that one page in where you get to see the Turtles from the 80s artwork. Yeah. So I like that little homage right there. My least favorite artwork, and I'm sure your least favorite as well, is the artwork halfway through the book when we get to Peter Venkman and Michelangelo. But I do like the scene in there where there's some deep conversation between Mikey and Pete about Mikey's father, where he kind of lets it all out.
And then we get these wannabe
turtle Ghostbusters
and all that stuff.
And Leo actually lets it out with
Winston.
Winston as well, yeah.
Yeah, with that artwork. And then we get like more of deep stories that they share with each other. And it looks like Donatello is going to be building some proton power ninja arsenal to try to get the collectors. So really great stuff in this.
I'm loving it. I'm loving this series. My only digital book this week goes to Mr. Miracle, issue number 4, The Trial of Scott Free. And he chooses to do it in his apartment. Orion shows up. There's a big back and forth. Don't answer with any statements. Just say simply yes or no. And he tries to push Mr. Miracle. And by the end of it, he actually does push Mr. Miracle where he kind of snaps. And obviously Mr. Miracle is found guilty. So now he's sentenced to death. I still feel like this book is Mr. Miracle's in a trap. Because at the end of the issue, he's talking about Big Barda being another trap. So I believe, especially because we're seeing those TV waves in between panels sometimes, that he is in a trap and he's trying to break free from it. That this whole world isn't really what's going on. That he's in this virtual world or this fake reality.
Okay.
Really good stuff, though. I'm going to continue reading it.
Master Kung Fu issue number 126. This is the one-shot issue of Shang-Chi. And it just talks about his day off, where it's really not a day off. He has a mission where there's something happening in this organization that captured this octopus who's supposed to be famous. And they're known to be more of the animal killers and doing like some brain surgeries and stuff like that. Shang-Chi doesn't like that because he has a monkey, of course. And here's some artwork, which is drawn really nicely, by the way.
It's written by CM Punk, by the way.
Oh, it is? Oh, I didn't even... Oh, yeah, it is. CM Punk. I didn't even know that. Alright, well, anyway. So he fights off against them, and he sets the octopus free. And then, in the end, well, he was known to be doing his heroic duties. And, yeah, so I really enjoyed this book. It's been like a long while since I read about Shang-Chi, and it's really great that I actually got to read about him in that one-shot issue for that.
Venom 157. If you haven't read Daredevil yet, that's okay, because the very first page of Venom shows Wilson Fisk being sworn in as the mayor of New York, and the fact that he's working with Kraven to eliminate the dinosaur threat that Kraven has observed or found underground under New York City, which he also points out that Venom is also down there and a threat. So this actually allows for Price to have an alibi, possibly to get out of jail, and the death penalty. And you got Venom and Kraven's re-encounter in the underground, because obviously Venom takes all this on the TV as a threat. Shriek shows up, and Venom ends up in the exact same position he was in the last issue, near death. And I hate when writers repeat endings. Last issue, he was, fatally shot, and the symbiote was trying to save Eddie. This issue, now he was buried underneath rubble. Another homage to that Spider-Man issue that I keep forgetting the number to. But anyway, man, I hate when there's repeat endings like that. But again, hopefully things will pick up. We got Venom incoming, and then Poison X follow right after.
Spider-Man vs. Deadpool, issue number 23 with the lenticular cover. Oh, it actually works a little bit alright.
Works better on... Yeah, that one works better.
But I think it is issue 23, is it? Yeah, 23. And what this is that basically Spider-Man found out that Deadpool killed Phil Coulson, so he wants to take him into justice for that. So the Black Cat tells him about it, and he sees him on TV with all that. So that's what it is. It's basically Peter Parker just chasing after Deadpool, also trying to, and like I said, take him into justice. This is your favorite scene where they actually meet up with sharks. Like, they go through these terrible things, and they even at the end are jumping out of a helicopter and everything, because we all know Deadpool, he's not scared of death at all and whatnot. So yeah, that was just really something. So even though Spidey's trying to take Deadpool into justice, he's going through all these extreme thingamajigs here, and it's really not fun for Spidey, but fun for Deadpool.
Long story short, She-Hulk is back, number 1. My lenticular cover does not work, so this is She-Hulk 159. She-Hulk's back, and in this issue, she gets abducted by the leader and some psycho doctor that wants to experiment on Hulk DNA. So now you got Hellcat, who's unaware that her friend is abducted. Jen, who's been drugged out of her mind so she can't Hulk out, and now a doctor who wants to experiment and test on She-Hulk. And then, of course, you get that 3 pages of, you know, She-Hulk from the moment she appeared in Marvel all the way to now. So, that's She-Hulk. Carolina appears in issue number 3 of Runaways. And Carolina is very happy. So when Gert, Chase, and Nico show up looking to get the band back together, she says no. She basically says, I'm very happy here. I'm in college. I have my own place to live. Girth can't understand it, but what can she do? She kind of leaves upset. But yeah, Carolina is at the moment very happy. And now that this happened, you start to see Carolina questioning whether she's really happy or not. So, nice conversation between Girth and Chase about, you know, now their age difference is even more, you know, immense because of the years that have passed since she died. And now they're going after Molly. And Nico makes the decision that, you know what, my life was boring anyway, so let's get the rest of the band back together. Will Caroline eventually join? I think so. I think this was just like her saying no for now, and then she realizes that she's not upset, not really happy. X-Men Gold, now on Mogo World, and now reunited. They fight against Mogo and his his army of, I guess, I don't even know, illusions to break free from his capture. Also, Magneto and Polaris break in to try to save the X-Men as well. We get to see Magneto and Polaris put in their classic suits later on as they join up with or attempt to join up with the rest of the X-Men. Which that was kind of cool. But in the end, the X-Men are faced with one last gigantic task, so to speak. And you see Mogo's trying to break the X-Men. And obviously Jean sees through it and says, you won't crack us. So now, next issue, X-Men Blue. The grand finale, the final fight. Looking forward to it. And then looking forward to coming back to X-Men Gold for the next story arc. Now into DC Comics. New Superman, issue number 17. Lex Luthor, we find out in this issue, is the one that has the Jade Dragon that Keenan needs to free his mentor. So, ignoring Superman and Lex Luthor, Keenan just ignores everybody and everything, steals the Jade Dragon, gets all of his powers back, now has fully become, you know, a full-powered Superman. But Superman and Lex are kind of left out in the cold as Keenan is left to fight Yi Chang on his own, and when he doesn't work with him, Yi Chang decides, well, you know what, you powered the Jade Dragon as well, so I'm just going to destroy the whole world and release all the demigods to do it for me. To be continued. Good stuff coming out of New Superman. Really glad I got back into it.
Alright, Justice League America, issue number 18. This is where the Prometheus in this one starts for this, and there's like lots of stuff that's going on where they're encountering with one person, and the Justice League who encounter it, they're taken out one by one, and like the only one I think that's left alive that could actually face this person is, I believe it was just Vixen. It's this guy right here, Afterthought, basically. And for all of them that's going to be taken down, well, it looks like Prometheus is here to collect. So basically it's just Vixen and wherever Batman is for this story that's going to be facing against Prometheus. So, was an okay issue. I'll check out the next one to see how it goes.
It's kind of funny you say Afterthought, because my next book is probably going to become a footnote afterthought in the Superman mythos, especially because we know the series is ending. As a matter of fact, I believe it's ending in January. Superwoman. We finally come full circle. We find out in this issue that Midnight has Steel captive, and we also find out the identity of Midnight, and it is, as the book comes full circle, Lena Luthor, who absorbed some of Lana's power somehow in the fight in the first arc of the second arc of Superwoman, and now Superwoman has to go fight her. She gets stuck, she gets pulled in, and now she's under Lena's kind of grip, so to speak, and she kind of is the one that is to blame. Like, she's starting to blame herself for what happened with Lena. Or now that Lena became Midnight, that the program that was within Lena was activated because of her. So, Superwoman. And I was hoping for better with the Lana story. I really was. I thought finally we have a good Lana in the comics, but Supergirl 15. The world does not trust Supergirl anymore, especially with the fallout of what happened in the last arc. So now you've got Kara, who's trying to figure out how to live a normal life and still be Supergirl without being chased, because every time Supergirl shows up, she's being chased by the DEO agents in order to be captured because, oh god, what was his name? Bones doesn't like that he can't control her, so he dubs her a menace. And that's why we find out that the parents quit the DEO because they didn't want to be involved with him. You got Kara, who's kind of just, she's stuck. And also we find out that Bones releases somebody else from, he ends up getting control over the, shoot, I forgot what it was called. The Scabbard. And he releases Sharon Vance. Now, for fans of Superman, you'll know who Sharon Vance is, but she's wearing the Superman blue costume, and she's blaming Supergirl for who she is. Now, Sharon Vance, if I remember correctly, was introduced way back in the early 2000s, and she ended up turning into blue energy as well, and Superman found his old blue energy suit and helped her by putting her in that suit, and she became basically the energy blue Superman in female form, which was cool. So was Supergirl blue. But anyway, Titans issue number 17. It was revealed Troya is the one that was to betray the Titans, and she comes from a dark future where every single Titan ends up dying by one reason or another. Doesn't know who the new 52 Wally is, but a fight ends up breaking out between the Titans and Troya and her mind control people. And she tries to convince Donna of the present that, you know, she shows her the past and then she shows her the future. She's like, help me destroy the world before they all break your heart, because you're immortal and you're going to watch everybody die. You're going to watch the world suffer, and then you're going to realize it all was for nothing. And then also we have New 52 Wally doing something, we don't know what, to try to save pre-New 52 Wally. Interesting stuff to be continued. Titans has been a really strong series. Really like the artwork in this series as well. All other books that I've reviewed so far, I've been enjoying the artwork. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. This is a metal tie-in continuing from Justice League. And basically, like the Justice League book, this is all about Hal Jordan fighting his Bat counterpart in the dark. Like, literally, it is pitch black. You got Hal using the strobe light to fight Green Lantern, Dark Green Lantern Bruce. You think that Hal has the upper hand. Unfortunately, things get turned around, and in the end, he's beaten and brought to this tower where all of his other friends are. To be concluded in Justice League this week or next episode for Metal.
Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 16. Red Hood encounter with Harley Quinn in this issue after all the stuff that Jason Todd and Arsenal go through. As you can see, Arsenal first encounters with Harley Quinn, and things get really, really dicey with that, and then they both escape where Bizarro is actually talking with Amanda Waller, trying to make a negotiation to work together with the other Bat team. Well, not that Bat team, Harley Quinn's Suicide Squad. And yeah, and the only way to do that is first they gotta go through this snow. And that is not good because Bella Reeves is 3,200 and something miles away. Really far. And very cold. So we're going to see in the next issue where they'll be.
One shot, Batman, Dark Knight's Metal, Batman Lost. We get to see what's going on in, well, it sucks because the computer screen is reflecting off of it, something awful. I love the metallic covers, but man, the computer screen. But anyway, we get to see what's going on with Batman. You know, he's connected to that tower. We find out he's going through a dream sequence where he's a grandfather, telling stories to his granddaughter about being Batman, and then he realizes, no, this is wrong. He breaks free. Barbados swears that he's going to get Batman to crack. Batman, of course, jumping from one reality to another, obviously put together within his mind. Says no. Unfortunately, he says, I'm going to find a way to break out. You won't break me. But in the end, You have Barbados saying, "I created you," and then basically showing Batman what's going on between Justice League, Green Lantern, and Flash right now, where all of his teammates are being beaten. And then he's like, "No, I give up, and then he goes back to his dream reality, where he's now trapped in, basically submitting to Barbados, which I think is wrong because Batman never gives up unless it's all a farce for, just to get Barbados off his back. I don't know. My two favorite books of the week, and it's no surprise, Detective Comics 968, Tim and the Bat Family versus the Dark Tim. We also get to see that kid from Ulysses, who was with the colony, who actually gets the same notification about Brother Eye because he has Red Robin's suit, and he wants to actually go in on his own, observing it without warning anyone about it. You've got the Bat Team fighting Dark Tim, and he's like, I don't want to fight you, I just want to kill Batwoman to prevent a dark future. He says the only other person here that isn't innocent is Damien because of what he does to the Kent boy. So obviously this Tim from the dark future does acknowledge that there is John. So Connor and John do exist in his world somehow. But anyway, he warns Tim, he gives him a hard warning about what's to come and that, you can't trust Batwoman. He ends up getting into the Belfry, but Tim and Luke have the Belfry on a different frequency, so it kicks Dark Batman Tim out of it and Brother Eye out of it. So Brother Eye retreats, and Dark Tim gets pulled back into his world, leaving this Tim alone. But he warns Tim, dark days are ahead, to be prepared. And that's kind of where it's left off. And that's a really abbreviated version of this book, but you should read this arc. It's really good. I've been loving Detective Comics is my number 2 favorite book, followed by my number 1 favorite book, 991, 8 issues to go for Action Comics. Superman and Jor-El, the final showdown. And Superman finds out in this issue that Jor-El was Mistlepha's jailer. Let me show that page first. That he was the one that actually caught Mxyzptlk and locked him away for all the time he's been gone. He finds out that he's captured Doomsday to take Doomsday off the table. And then finally Superman's like, you know what? This staff, I think, is what's controlling you. It's not where your power's coming from. It's what's making you do what you're doing. He breaks the staff. That breaks the control over all the humans that are being possessed by Oz. But it also frees and not kills, but hurts Jor-El. Jor-El is no longer being controlled by the staff, which obviously was given to him by somebody, Dr. Manhattan. But the staff was also keeping the kryptonite that's in his head from basically killing him. And he apologizes that, I wasn't in full control. You get that wonderful moment between Clark and Jor-El, and then he gets pulled away by some type of force, and Superman's like, oh, I forgot what he said. Did he say come at me or face me or something? Oh, who are you? And we all know who it is as readers, but he ends up getting shot away back to Earth, or back to the fortress where his father is gone. We don't know who took him away. But the last 2 pages of this book are really, really strong. You got Superman, Lois is like, is it true what Jor-El said, that the world is dying from the inside out? And you hear Superman listening to all the bad stuff going on around the world. And he goes to Lois, people are losing hope. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going back to work. So this is the Superman I've been waiting to read since the New 52 ruined Superman for me. 52 issues of garbage Superman, 52 months technically, plus 2 extra months because we had those one-shot months where there were no ongoings.
Annuals.
No. Forever Evil, they didn't do any.
Oh.
This is the Superman I know and love, and this lenticular, unlike Marvel's lenticular covers, these lenticular covers actually lenticulate. Just saying. But anyway, really loved Action Comics. It is my number 1 favorite book out of this week. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. 25 minutes. Well, it's 24 minutes and a couple of seconds, but by the time we finish the outro, it'll be about 25 minutes. That's nearly half of what we normally do. And that's honestly where we're trying to aim with these reviews come next year. And you guys will hear what we're planning for next year when next year begins. But till then, thank you all so much for being here with us. This was not a live show this week. So as always, guys, feel free to comment below your thoughts about any of the books we reviewed here. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. We love hearing from you guys. And also, feel free to, if you, if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, click the sub button. This way I'm in your sub box so you don't miss out on a single review. Until then, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Hey, everyone.